Results a pair to Market Goats. First place, Katie Miller. Second, Chris Kelly. Third, Andy Swab. Fourth, Jace Kelly. Fifth, Colt Cleland. Sixth, Charlie Grove. 7, Taylor Sturm. And 8, Mackenzie Goodhart. Cooper Umbrell and Mason Miller, you have ribbons in the office. Cooper Umbrell and Mason Miller. Market Lamb Exhibitors, this is your 5-minute warning. Market Lamb Exhibitors senior showmanship, 5 minutes. Troy Longenecker. 1 heat of seniors, 2 intermediate, 2 junior, 2 novice. Sorry, I was looking at the swine papers. All right, good afternoon. Welcome to the Shippensburg Community Fair for the 2024 Market Lamb Show. Up first in our ring is senior showmanship for our market lambs. We have Becky Kowick, Alana Haynes, Josh Holtree, and Katie Miller. These exhibitors are age 17 and over. That's your class. Next class will be intermediate showmen. Intermediate showmen will have 2 heats. Heat A, Blake Bear, Colt Cleland, Robert Creek, Caitlin Holtree, Allie Lehman, Lacey Lehman, Mason Miller. Intermediate showman, Heat A to ringside.
Well, we get started in our senior sheep showmanship, and only 4 exhibitors, and they sort themselves quite handily for me. Just the fire, the drive, the added presentation the young lady has here to go ahead and win, I think is next level. Maybe at times she just wants to work a little bit over much about that front feet, and when you prop, you just want to get him staggered a little bit. Need to work at keeping his loin edge up in him, but boy, just her ring presence and the way she meets this sheep, next level. Don't mind the halter of the showman here in second, and some might be questioning that for out here in the senior drive, and that's fine. With that being said, I like how she gets that to use to her advantage to get this one walking and moving comfortably around the ring. Maybe not quite the meticulousness about the feet placement as the young lady right ahead of you. Maybe not quite this fast when it comes to driving and getting this thing set up. She just got a little more fire, just does a quicker job when it comes to getting them presented. Young lady here in 3 gets just out horsed in this division. This one wants to drive towards the ground, and she's a great big tall young lady out here that's having a hard time getting this thing pushed back and presented here, but she does a good job of driving and just moving around the ring. Young man that's going to round out this group of 4. I like how he gets in front and braces and pulls up on the head and the neck here. You just want to get her, get this weather base narrow when you set it. I really like to get you to widen this guy out and just worry about keeping the top line level and just pushing back on that head and neck. Let's give all 4 of them a round of applause.
Senior showmanship. First place, Katie Miller. Second, Alana Haynes. Third, Becky Kowick. And fourth, Josh Holtree. Next class is intermediate showman, Heat A. Blake Bear, Colt Cleland, Robert Creek, Caitlin Holtree, Allie Lehman, Lacey Lehman, and Mason Miller. This age division is ages 14 to 16. 7 in this first heat. Heat B should be at ringside. Shelby Myers, Trinity Pierce, Savannah Stoner, Taylor Sturm, Cooper Umbrell, Emma Wagner, and Aubrey Watkins. Once again, Heat B to ringside.
We get out here in our first wave of intermediates, and I want to pull these four to my right when it just comes to presentation, the way they get them driving. Maybe at times some of them want to stick their knee in the dirt or just manhandle these sheep just a little bit for my preference. But I think when they get out here in this division, just do a great job grabbing my attention. They've got that added intensity and ring presence. Let's give them all a round of applause.
Qualifying for the finals out of the first heat, Blake Bear, Colt Cleland, Allie Lehman, and Lacey Lehman. Next heat, Shelby Myers, Trinity Pierce, Savannah Stoner, Taylor Sturm, Cooper Umbrell, Emma Wagner, and Aubrey Watkins. Once again, this is Heat B of the intermediate showmanship class. Again, these ages are 14 to 16. After this class, we'll be ready to select our intermediate champion showman. And then we'll be ready for junior. Market Lamb exhibitors in the junior showmanship division, please start making your way to ringside.
this class of intermediates. Let's give them a round of applause. The three here to my right come out the gate, and they're just the kind that have that fire and just ring presence and poise about them. I like their added fire. The way they get these things moved around the ring is really, really good. Then we watch them get planted, and I think these three just surface when it comes to driving and keeping them assembled the best for me. Let's give them all another hand.
Qualifying out of Heat B for the finals, Savannah Stoner, Taylor Sturm, and Cooper Umbrell. We're now ready for our selection of our intermediate showmanship champion. In the ring, we should have finalists Blake Bear, Colt Cleland, Allie Lehman, Lacey Lehman, Savannah Stoner, Taylor Sturm, and Cooper Umbrell.
Pretty close. I think these two young men are really elite. It's really nitpicky, but the young man is just more meticulous with his feet placement. He gets this guy driving and just pushing. He's a little overdoing about that brace and just gets these things just cranked up, and that's what makes Next Level Market Lamb Showman. I think that's where he goes ahead and wins. I like the calm, cool, collected nature of the young man here in second. I think he gets more out of the front 1/3 of these sheep. The only thing I'm going to fault you on is you just want to reach down and pick the front 1/3 up on both of these creatures out here, and you're not always setting those front feet underneath of them. Once you pull up and just get them driving and planted, I need you to look down and make sure that where you set them is just both of them square underneath of it. I gave you a couple looks there and was waiting for you to change that, and you didn't. So that's why you're going to be second today. A young lady here in third's got a lot of fire and just a lot of presentation when it comes to showmanship. She's not as quick as the young men are, and maybe just not as stylish when it comes to just getting in front of these and just doing a darn good job. This one wants to pull and fight and push for you out here. Just need to get this one dead broke to play with those two young men right ahead of you. Young lady here in 4 does a great job, and she catches my attention when she comes out in the ring, but she falls apart the more she's out here. She just wants to manhandle this sheep and really just pull at the backside this one's neck. I think if you just get out here and be more comfortable in the ring, just get those feet set square and then bring your body into this sheep, I think you'd move yourself up. It's better than just manhandling them, because they're just going to keep fighting you as the drive goes on. A young man here in 5, I like him quite a bit. Once he got out here in the second heat, he did so much better. This thing's just not broke to be out here in the show ring. You need to get this guy just trained ever so slightly better to come out here and make yourself look better. It's just taking you too long to get him presented, get him stuck, and get him square. Let's give all these intermediates out here a hand.
Intermediate showmanship, first place Blake Bear, second Cooper Umbrell, third Taylor Sturm, fourth Allie Lehman, fifth Colt Cleland, sixth Savannah Stoner, and seventh Lacey Lehman. Next in the ring is our first heat of junior showmen. Heat 1, Hannah Brenneis, Lane Brenneis, Judd Cleland, Chase Cruzy, Lane Darhauer, Mallory Fagan, Caleb Fogelsanger, and Emmeline Cleland. Once again, this is Heat A of our junior division. These exhibitors are ages 11 to 13. If you bought chances on another snack basket, these are green tickets. Green tickets for the snack basket. Serial number 02438. Again, serial number 02438. Winning number 40. 40 is a winning number. Come to the office, you can claim your basket.
I think this division super deep, and these five for me just go ahead and find their way to the top. When they walk them around the ring, they just keep them super mobile, super athletic, and they've got that eye contact and presence about them that says, I'm out here to show, and I want to go ahead and find my way to the top of this class. That's what separates them for me. Let's give them all a hand.
Qualifying for the finals out of this heat will be Hannah Brenize, Lane Brenize, Emmeline Cleland, Chase Cruzy, and Mallory Fagan. Heat B should be coming into the ring. Jamison Jones, Chris Kelly, Emily Myers, Lindsay Smith, Carly Saplee, Andy Swab, Micah Yingling, and Silas Ziegler. Once again, these exhibitors are aged 11 to 13. That's your class. After this heat, we'll be ready to select our champion junior showman.
This heat is really, really good, and these four for me just come and just have all the extras when it comes to ring presence and presentation. They've got that showmanship style and ability about them. They command the ring. They command my attention. They're going to go ahead and come back in this division. Let's give them a round of applause.
Qualifying for the finals in junior showmanship out of this heat are Christopher Kelly, Lindsay Smith, Carly Saplee, and Andy Swab. We're now ready for our champion junior showman drive. In the ring, we should have Hannah Brenize, Lane Brenize, Emmeline Cleland, Chase Cruzy, Mallory Fagan, Chris Kelly, Lindsay Smith, Carly Saplee, and Andy Swab. Attention in and around the barns. We have a gray Ford Explorer, license plate MJM8452. It needs moved immediately. A gray Ford Explorer MJM8452. If that's your vehicle, please move it immediately. The car has been moved. Thank you very much.
We're going to talk these three, and I apologize for taking so long, but I don't at the same time because I think these three kiddos out here are the next level showmen and ones that can win drives all across this state and even further because I think they're just that good. They know their way around a sheep and how to present them. The young lady up here to my right, she hits the ring, and she's just got that ring presence about her. As she comes out here trotting in the ring, at times you just want to keep this guy short coupled underneath of himself. He's already short from his forerib back to his hip. Just need to be conscientious about that feet placement. But boy, your presentation, the way you get out here and drive them is really, really good. We switched you to the other sheep out here, and maybe not quite the drive and push and just expression to get out of those other two sheep. But boy, I love your posture. I love your ring presence. I think your intensity is next level. The young man out here in the center, boy, he's just doing a dang good job. And it's been his day out here shining in the ring, especially showing to myself. I think he hits the ring, and he just gets every sheep out here motoring and moving around the ring the best in my estimation. And you switch him to every sheep, and he's just super cognizant about where the feet need to be and how to get them presented. I love that angle of how he keeps that neck at a 90-degree angle, and that's where he excels his contemporaries out here. Maybe not quite the ring flare and as the young ladies, and that's okay, but I think maybe at times you want to get your front feet splayed just a little bit. But boy, your presentation, your neck set, your posture, the way you get every sheep moving and presented is next level. It's just small nitpicky things. Young lady that's coming here in the last group, this division, I like her a bunch. This one reads to be the most intense, the most fired up. I think maybe at times you just want to overdrive all the time. You got a sheep that's a little straight out of its hock and one that's hard to get presented, and you do it really, really well. Maybe I'd just like to get this one pushing forward and just getting the neck at a 90 instead of pushing back on it too far. And maybe at times when we switch you to some other sheep, maybe not quite the presence, getting the feet set square, but you do a tremendous job with this sheep. I think it's give or take between all of them. They are super, super tremendous. It's one man's opinion. I think tomorrow or even in an hour, they might switch them up. I got to make a decision out here, and I tell you, this is one of the hardest ones I've made in the 6 shows I've sorted in the last week. This is a great trio of kids. Let's give these three and everyone else in this division a round of applause. For me, when it just comes to consistency and front-end assembly and just how they get them presented, young man's my champion. Congratulations. Gets pretty close, very, very close between these young ladies. And I think when it comes to just the Market Lamb drive and consistently getting them popped full of power and muscle and just getting them presented that way, young lady in the back's going to be our reserve, and we'll follow with the young lady up front for third. This trio is phenomenal.
Junior showmanship champion Christopher Kelly, second place Andy Swab, and third Carly Suplee. On down the line, fourth was Lane Brenneis, fifth Mallory Fagan, sixth Emmeline Cleland, seventh Hannah Brenneis. Next up is our novice division showmanship. Novice showman, first heat. Casey Bear, Gage Cleland, Clayton Cruzy, Emma Jean Demisa, Aiden Fogelsanger, and Everett Jones. Once again, Heat A, novice showman into the ring.
We start our novice division here, and I think these three just go ahead and gravitate my attention. Just when it comes to ring presence, they're the most focused when it comes to eye contact and feet placement out here. Let's give them all a hand.
Qualifying from the first heat, we had Casey Bear, Gage Cleland, and Clayton Cruzy. Now in the ring is Heat B. You should see Jace Kelly, Gwen McKee, Blake Smith, George Schwab, Charlie Wheeler, and Leo Zinn. After this class, we will select our champion novice showman. Jacob Best, you're needed at the livestock office. Jacob Best to the livestock office.
We get out here in our final round of novice showmanship, and the young men out here to my right just get more drive and brace, get in front of these sheep, and are the most cognizant when it comes to bringing their front ends together. Let's give them all a round of applause.
Qualifying for the finals out of this heat is Jace Kelly, Blake Smith, George Schwab, and Leo Zinn. We're now ready for the finals in novice showmanship. We should have Casey Bear, Gage Cleland, Clayton Cruzy, Jace Kelly, Blake Smith, George Schwab, and Leo Zinn.
really stout set, a novice showman out here. Let's give all these young men a round of applause. Definitely a great group all the way through, but I do think there's one hammer that goes ahead in my mind and just finds his way to be your champion. He is the best one when it comes to just front end assembly and getting this one set square. He goes around and reaches and sets each sheep around from 4, 3, 2, 1, and I think he just does the best job keeping that neck set square. He's the fastest. He drives the hardest. That's my champion. I think our sort comes here between 2 and 3, and I just like the way that the young man here in second brings his front feet together. He keeps this one's top line into him. Young man in third, you just keep grabbing that one's top and just breaking it there and getting him driving forward. I think you need to push back into him and then get his front feet up underneath of him. You just get him too stretched out and then pull up at his top line, just throw him off balance. We can collect that one up underneath of himself and keep him straight. I think you rival them pretty hard. You do a great job. Young man here in 4, at times you just want to get this one driving towards the ground. Need you to wrap your body in front just a little bit and just fire up on that one, and you do really, really well out here. Need you to watch your back feet placement just a bit to get around those dudes right ahead of you, but you do a phenomenal job. A young man that comes out next, I love just his courteousness and how respectful he is out here, especially of everyone on either side, and to me, just super good guy out here having a lot of fun. I just wish he was just a little fired up at getting this thing driving and working well with him. Need you to watch your feet placement as well. On down the line, just some inexperiences when it comes to getting these things fired up and driving out here. Let's give this group and division here a round of applause.
Market Lamb Showmanship Novice Division, first place George Swab. Second place, Jace Kelly. Third, Casey Bear. Fourth, Gage Cleland. Fifth, Clayton Cruzy. Sixth, Leo Zinn. And seventh, Blake Smith. Next up, we're ready to select our champion, Market Lamb Showman. Senior Division, Katie Miller. Intermediate Division, Blake Bear. Junior Division, Chris Kelly. And Novice Division, George Swab. At ringside, for selection of our Supreme Champion representative, we should have Allie Lehman and Lane Brenize. And Alana Haynes. Those individuals at ringside for selection of our Supreme.
Let's give these 4 out here and those kids still waiting ringside here a round of applause. Not huge numbers, but boy, just high quality showmen. And I was blessed to sort a national showmanship contest with hundreds coming into the ring. And you know, the kid I picked wins a major national showmanship contest. And 6 months later, I soared again at an Arizona jackpot. And he was too chicken to come out into the ring because his dad didn't think a national champion should get beat at a jackpot. And that's what's wrong with a lot of people in this industry is, you know, you you win some, lose most, and you just got to keep trying. You throw a dart at the wall when we go to a jackpot show, and sometimes you hit the target, and sometimes you hit your neighbor over there in the back of the head, and that's okay. We got to get out here and get in the ring, because if this was all determined for us, I don't know what we would enjoy about showmanship and showing livestock. We'd just pull up in our trucks and trailers, let the bookies in the office just go ahead and sort the show for us. I think there's a lot of sort and give and take, and I think these four are elite, and there's a lot ringside that contend as well. We had some super stout divisions. The more we get them out here and the more we get them presented, there's one that I'm the most comfortable about in my mind. I've got a preference and an opinion, and when I teach people showmanship, I really don't like when everyone pulls up on the front ends and just tries to pop them into position. There's one kiddo out here that sets all 4 feet underneath of it and comes in and just has a tremendous posture, super good and intense, and does a tremendous job. Young man out of this last division, our novice, is going to be our champion.
Overall, champion Lamb Showman goes to George Schwab out of our novice division. That concludes our showmanship competition. Congratulations to all of our showmen. We're now ready for our underweight lamb class. Underweight lambs. Three entries in our underweight class. These are lambs weighing less than 80 pounds. Emma Jean Demisa, number 47. Aiden Fogelsanger, number 15. And Caleb Fogelsanger, number 16. Market Lamb exhibitors, lightweight 1 to ringside, Emma Jean Demisa, Aubrey Watkins, Mason Miller. Once again, lightweight 1 to ringside.
We may as well call this the hair sheep division instead of the underweights, because these are really good, well-built, sound skeleton kind of sheep. I like these hair sheep quite a bit, and that being said, the one that's just the most functional and practical in his build and look and design is going to go ahead and win. Probably the softest centered, biggest ribbed one's going to come here in second. Not quite the rack shape, and hip and hind leg not as fluid in his movement as the young man sheep that's going to go ahead and win. White sheep here that's going to round out this trio is really good from the side. Just the greenest one out here, the plainest, the one that just hits the ground the most narrow. Let's give this trio a round of applause.
In our underweight class, first place goes to Caleb Fogelsanger, second to Aiden Fogelsanger, and third, Emma Jean Demisa. Get it, Aiden. Next in the ring, lightweight 1. Lightweight 1 in the ring. Emma Jean Demisa, 51. Aubrey Watkins, number 2. Mason Miller, 323. That's your class. Weights in this class are 80 to 83 pounds. Market Lamb exhibitors lightweight 2 to ringside. Emily Myers, Robert Creek, and Emma Wagner.
A trio of lightweights here to start our Market Lamb show, and 3 different types and kinds and styles out here. The show sheep's going to go ahead and find its way to the top. This one's good hided, ultra shapely square back. Maybe like to change this one and its hock set and just square it up in its dock, but that one's up and out and fresh, good touching, good looking, super good moving up front. The Dorset appearing sheep next. This one's big cage, big back. I really want to just tighten this one up about its hide, change it about its hip and its hind leg construction as we watch it get around the ring. But compositionally, I think when we hang that one upside down, lots of product, lots of genuine width and mass. The Hampshire appearing sheep that's going to round out this trio is just one that's the greenest and the plainest out of this group of 3 out here. This one, I just really need to change the hip and the hind leg, longer docked one that just looks plainer about its shape, higher about its spine when we set him in motion. Let's give this trio a hand.
Lightweight 1, first place Mason Miller, second Aubrey Watkins, and third Emma Jean Demisa. Lightweight 2 into the ring. Emily Myers 311, Robert Creek 45, Emma Wagner 378. In this class, 3 lambs, 87 to 90 pounds. Market Lamb exhibitors to ringside, lightweight 3, Blake Smith, Micah Yingling, Trinity Pierce, Blake Smith. Once again, lightweight 3 to ringside.
We get out here in this division, and a young man brings us one that's the shallowest built, squarest in his construction, handles with the most product and genuine shape. Get behind him, and it's just how he functions out of his hip and his hind leg that gets him over the young lady sheep here in second. I like the rack shape and loinage in this one, but he gets the most uncoordinated in motion, especially out of his hock and where he sits at the ground from his pastern to his heel. I think that guy is just the most uncoordinated of this top pair. I need to make him more comfortable on the go, square him up in his dock set to get around the young man's sheep. Suffolk appearing individual that's going to round out this trio, one that just gets the most peaked in its upper hip, rounder out of both ends of its skill, and it gets forward about the point of its shoulder and its breastplate there. Need to give this one some more rack shape. Let's give these 3 exhibitors a hand.
Lightweight 2, first place Robert Creek, second Emily Myers, and third Emma Wagner. Next class in the ring, lightweight 3, Blake Smith's 166, Micah Yingling 373, Trinity Pierce 363, Blake Smith 167. Four lambs in this class. Weights are 91 to 96 pounds. Market lamb exhibitors, lightweight 4 to ringside. Mason Miller, Trinity Pierce, Micah Yingling, Silas Ziegler. Once again, lightweight 4 to ringside.
A really interesting class, and we've got 4 different types and kinds out here. The Shropshire appearing one to me is just the freshest touching, square-shaped one that's ultra shallow and unique looking up front. Man, I wish this one was more comfortable about the center portion of his spine and just leveler there in his rack, but I think this one's genuine power and mass and edges and chest floor is what takes him to the top of this class. Really like the hair shape that comes here in second, a bold rib cage and just lots of power and mass. This guy's got whale's red meat and muscle in him. When you take him upside down, he's just frailer at the ground and wants to close up. I wish he just had the squareness of touch as that one that goes ahead and wins. Hard to make a Dorper type of sheep here to compete with that one. Suffolk sheep that's going to come next just wants to get shorter and more moderate. This one's lower and quicker to the ground. I think this one just handles too soft for me, especially in this division. Gets rounder out of its hip. We've got a wool type sheep here to round out this division, and boy, that one's rugged at the ground and just got lots of bone on it. But that being said, this one's hide's just ultra tough and barky for me today. I think this one just doesn't come to me with as much handle quality, not as much red meat and muscle to go ahead and rival those ahead of him. Let's give this class a round of applause.
Lightweight 3, first place Micah Yingling, second Trinity Pierce, third Blake Smith, and fourth Blake Smith. Next class in the ring, lightweight 4, Mason Miller's 322, Trinity Pierce 362, Micah Yingling 372, Silas Ziegler 194. 4 lambs in this class weighing 102 to 104. Market lamb exhibitors, next class to ringside, lightweight 5. Becky Kowick, Chris Kelly, Shelby Myers, and Taylor Sturm.
The natural colored for me is the most athletic in motion. This guy's kind of got paws underneath of him and gets out and trots around the ring. And then you get your hands on him, and he is the freshest, the one that's just the biggest back, the squarest edged one. I think that's a logical place here to start. Another rugged Hampshire appearing sheep that's just got wales of power and rib cage, just not quite the uniqueness, the shallowness up front, not nearly as square in his upper hip. I think this one just gets rounder in his rack shape as well. Really nice pair here to go ahead and start this class. Really close sort here between the Suffolk and the Dorper. That being said, there's just more genuine shape and squareness of build in that Suffolk sheep. I wish both of them tied in better at the top side of their shoulder and back into their rack. I think the one here with the Suffolk just has more product when we take him to the table. The Dorper for me just gets really low and opened up in his front 1/3. He is too quick, and one that just has a lot of condition on him today to go ahead and play with those boys right ahead of him. Let's give him a round of applause.
Lightweight 4, first place Silas Ziegler, second Mason Miller, third Micah Yingling, and fourth Trinity Pierce. Next class in the ring is lightweight 5. Becky Coax 397, Christopher Kelly 178, Shelby Myers 312, Taylor Sturm 96. 4 lambs in this class weighing 106 to 107.
Out here in our final class of lightweights, and the one that just hits my trigger and fancy the best is one that's got big pipes and shape and square in his edges. This one's good looking and really highly presented. He touches super square and fresh, and one that I think just goes ahead and plays pretty easily in this class. Maybe not the most fluid in his joints when we watch him get out of his hock, but that one standing still is just next level livestock. I really like the one here in second as well for just being fresh and shallow up and out. Got a lot of extension, grow, and look about it. A really close decision here on top. Just wish this one was more comfortable in its spine. We watched it get out and move. That's a really nice sheep here to land second. One that's just not my speed is going to go ahead and land third. This one's probably got a couple D's in its gene pool. This one's just too quick and moderate, straight, and more restricted out of both ends of its skeleton. One that's busted open and ultra shapely, but one that when we hang it upside down is just not going to have quite the length, the carcass, fluidity of movement and balance and ring presence out here to go ahead and trick my trigger. Young lady sheep that's going to round out this division just gets out horsed when it comes to bone and wool and just mass and just all the extras that come with the show ring. Let's give them all a hand.
Lightweight 5, first place Taylor Sturm, second Chris Kelly, third Becky Koick, fourth Shelby Myers. We're now ready to select our lightweight champion. Out of lightweight 1, Mason Miller 323, Aubrey Watkins 2, Emma Jean Demisa 51. Out of lightweight 2, Robert Creek 45, Emily Myers 311, Emma Wagner 378. Lightweight 3, Micah Yingling 373, Trinity Pierce 363, Blake Smith 166. Lightweight 4, Silas Ziegler 194, Mason Miller 322, Micah Yingling 372. Lightweight 5, Taylor Sturm 96, Chris Kelly 178, Becky Koick 397.
Division I out here. Let's give these lightweight exhibitors a hand. We're not going to waste too much time, and I'm one that's got photographic memory out here, and ones that just hit me the hardest when they come out in the ring. Those are the kind I'm going to gravitate towards. Just going to sort sheep all day long when it comes to build, balance, show ring look, and handle quality, and that's what I prefer. We've been very blessed to take a lot of elite sheep around the country, and I feel like I'm super confident and comfortable finding a trio out here in this division. Young lady and young man are going to be grand and reserve out of this last class. We're going to follow up with the natural for third overall.
Lightweight champion goes to Taylor Sturm's 96, reserved to Chris Kelly's 178, and third overall lightweight to Silas Ziegler's 194. Next class in the ring, medium weight 1, Robert Creek, 46, Jace Kelly, 181, Lane Brenize, 268, Caitlin Holtree, 544. Jace Kelly's 181s needed in the ring. That's your class, Judge. Weights in here are 108 to 112. Market Lamb exhibitors, medium weight 2 to ringside. Leo Zinn, Taylor Wagner, Charlie Wheeler, Taylor Wagner, and Gage Cleland.
Sword up top, but the young man sheep that goes ahead and starts this class is just one that's more rugged and manly. This one's bigger caged and square built. He goes around the ring on a better set of feet and legs, maybe just a little straighter about his hock, but I prefer his hock over the young man sheep here in second. This class winning sheep's just boulder caged, bigger muscled, one that's up and out and just bigger footed, bigger wooled at the ground, one that I think needs to go ahead and start this sort. Probably a rawer, greener, fresher touching one's going to come here in second. This one just gets plainer about his rib shape, his underline balance isn't as elite. Then we watch him get out and go, and that's where I'm going to fault him today. Just got way too much set to that hock. He wants to get outside of his skeleton and roll when we set him in motion. I need this guy to just be square built at the ground, be more comfortable out of that hip and hind leg. I think he's ultra fresh. He just wants to get down on his joints and get outside of himself for me today. Another close sort here in 3 and 4. Young man Sheep's just square in his design, bolder in his forerib. This one's bigger in his upper hip, and it's that dock structure, squareness of his hip, and just his pelvis in general. It's going to get him around the young lady Sheep that's highly presented, good looking, just runs out of gas and muscle shape, not nearly enough from behind. Let's give this group of 4 exhibitors a round of applause.
Medium weight 1, first place Lane Brenai, second Jace Kelly, third Robert Creek, and fourth Caitlin Holtree. Next class in the ring, medium weight 2, Leo Zinn 231, Taylor Wagner 418, Charlie Wheeler 23, Taylor Wagner 419, and Gage Cleland 140. Market Lamb exhibitors, next class to ringside, medium weight 3, Lane Darhauer, Carly Suplee, Aubrey Watkins, and Caitlin Holtree. Medium weight 3 to ringside.
There's one that hits the ring and comes to mind of just being a next level class winner. I think this one's cage and center body, boot size, and just foot at the ground is really, really intriguing. Thin-hided, ultra shapely. Maybe like to pick this one up in its dock, just a bit squared up out of its edge there. But that one is elite show stock when it just comes to presentation, look, hide, and handle. Really nice place to start. Sort here comes in 2 and 3. I'm going to side with the one that's just more up and out and extended, thinner hided, fresher touching. Wish this one was blown apart in his hip and wedged from behind. Think he needs to come to the ground a little more rugged, but that one's good looking and up and out. Young lady Sheep that comes here in 3 is just really bold in his skeleton and really wide and opened up. He just gets more peaked in his shape and just rounder up out of that hip. He's more moderate, not as good looking, tougher about his hide. Young lady's got a very similar Sheep here in 4, but this one gets up in his spine and just gets plainer out of both ends of his skeleton. Young lady Sheep that's going to round out this class is the frailest featured at the ground, closes up at the ground, and I really need to reconstruct this one out of its dock set, and especially as the way this one wants to function out of its stifle and hock, the way it hits the ground. Let's give them all a hand.
Taylor Sturm, stay in the ring, please. Medium weight 2, first place Gage Cleland, second Leo Zinn, third Taylor Wagner, fourth Taylor Wagner, and fifth Charlie Wheeler. Taylor Sturm, if you could bring that lamb back in the ring. Taylor Wagner, can you join us in the ring as well? Taylor Wagner is earning our Champion Rate of Gain Award for the Market Lambs. With her Market Lamb 419. I don't think you're supposed to be doing that. All right, congratulations. We're going to get a picture with your lamb and your banner. Maybe somebody can help hold the lamb or the banner. Let's give Taylor a round of applause. Congratulations, Taylor. All right, thanks for that interruption. Here we go. Medium weight threes into the ring. Lane Darhauer, 24. Carly Suplee, 117. Aubrey Watkins, number 1. Caitlin Holtry, 543. 4 lambs in this class, weighing 116 to 117. Market lamb exhibitors, medium weight 4 to ringside. Emma Wagner, Hannah Brenneis, and Silas Ziegler.
Most guys from outside the ring would say Ray Charles can find the class winner in this class, and I think he's the elite stock when it comes to just presentation, handle quality, shallowness of build, and just being super athletic in motion. He's big-footed and fuzzy-legged, super highly presented, maybe a notch short up out of his hip, but that guy is just creased up and big-backed and ultra-shapely, super good-looking, and has all the extras. Nice place to start. Second place sheep is one that just fits the bill for me. Just having that handle quality, just being up and out and squareness of built. But that being said, I think this one's pulling back way too much today to get a super good read on it. But that being said, I think when we set him in motion, he still does have the most genuine integrity and still comes with just so much shape and power and mass. Dorper sheep that's going to come next is big caged and big ribbed, but not nearly the shape, especially down into his stifle and the seam of his lower leg and that punch from behind. Young man's Brockle sheep that's going to round out this group just gets peaked at about his shoulder. He's the plainest in his rack. Really need to make that guy square, open him up in his chest, and give that one some more foot size. That one just comes to me with not as much power to compete with those right ahead of him. Let's give him a round of applause.
Medium weight 3, first place Carly Suplee, second Caitlin Holtry, third Aubrey Watkins, and fourth Lane Darhauer. Next class in the ring, medium weight 4, Emma Wagner 379, Hannah Brenneis 263, Silas Ziegler 193. 3 lambs in this class weighing 118 to 120. Market lamb exhibitors, medium weight 5 to ringside, Savannah Stoner, George Schwab, and Everett Jones. Medium weight 5 to ringside.
I think there's a lot of sort in this trio, and the young man sheep for me is just the boldest rib, biggest backed one. He's got the most bone, the most muscle shape. I don't think he's nearly as cool up front, especially in the way he wants to lay into the point of his shoulder and the depth of his blade there. He wants to get deeper and opened up front. And I want to tie him up a little higher, just make him up and out, and then make his underline balance a little bit better, make him shallower in his chest and deeper in his flank. But that one's topside quality is good enough for me to go ahead and win. Just big-footed, burly, and massive. Just want to make him look more like a show sheep from the side. A young lady is a highly presented one that she gets up and out. And that being said, he's still the most opened up, and the top side of his shoulder doesn't transition and progress as nicely in that wedge from his forerib shaped back. The widest part of his skeleton is the top of his shoulder, especially right there at the top part of his forerib. I think this one just gets too peaked and plain in his upper hip. It really washed out in his loin edge. I think if we can make this guy juicier and bigger back, he can play with that one right ahead of him. I just think when we set him in motion, he gets too piecey on the go. Young lady sheep that's going to go ahead and round out this trio is just one that's big-footed and just really extended, really long-bodied. But then we go and talk about width and mass and just being big in their upper hip and just having tons of muscle, and that's where he lacks the two right ahead of him. That's why he's going to go a comfortable third. Nice trio here in this division.
Medium weight 4, first place Silas Ziegler, second Hannah Brenneis, and third Emma Wagner. Next class in the ring, medium weight 5, Savannah Stoners 344, George Schwab 584, Everett Jones 190. 3 lambs in this class weighing 123 to 124. Market Lamb Exhibitors up next is our medium weight champion drive. We need the top 3 from each medium weight class into the ring for selection of our champion medium weight reserve and third place.
You want to talk about freshness and handle quality, and one that's forerib shape and progression of width and proportionality is next level. The guy right here that's going to start this class is my speed. You get your hands on this guy, and he's just incredible. He gets him propped up and good looking, maybe in motion. He wants to get a little underneath of himself as he travels out of his hock. But when you get this guy planted and up and out and driving the right direction, he's bulky, he's dense, he's super masculine and manly out here. That one's an elite one to go ahead and win. Young lady sheep just gets out horsed in this top pair. He's not nearly as wide in his stifle shape. He's shorter and rounder in his upper hip. Just want to square him up. His hide's a little drier and one that's a little more washed out in his loin edge than the sheep that goes ahead and wins. Young man sheep, when he gets him propped up, I think this one's super expressive in his rack. He is big in his upper hip and his lower leg. Just wants to get up in his spine. He wants to break in his loin edge. He's one that when he gets around the ring, he wants to shoot his neck out the straight out of the front side of his shoulder there and drop and open up in his chest. And that's something I'm just going to pick on him for. Really nice trio, to be honest. Let's give them a round of applause.
Medium weight 5, first place George Schwab, second Savannah Stoner, third Everett Jones. We're now ready for our medium weight champion drive. Into the ring for medium weight 1, Lane Brenneis, Jace Kelly, and Robert Creek. Medium weight 2, Gage Cleland, Leo Zinn, and Taylor Wagner. Medium weight 3, Carly Saplee, Caitlin Holtry, and Aubrey Watkins. Medium weight 4, Silas Ziegler, Hannah Brenneis, and Emma Wagner. And medium weight 5, George Swab, Savannah Stoner, and Everett Jones.
Let's give Division II out here a hand. I think what it boils down to is 3 of them, and I'm super comfortable with them, and they come back out here, and they fit in my mind the same way as I had expected when they came back out here in the drive. There's 3 of them that are up and out and good looking. They're really shapely. They're good touching. They're square build. I'll go show you the 3 I like.
Champion medium weight goes to George Swab, reserve to Carly Saplee, and third to Lane Brenneis. We're now ready for our light heavyweight 1 class. Into the ring, light heavyweight 1. Leo Zinn, 230. Savannah Stoner, 343. Emmeline Cleland, 137. Colt Cleland, 139. And Chase Cruzy, 365. 5 lambs in this class weighing 125 to 127. Market Lamb exhibitors, light heavyweight 2 to ringside. Josh Holtry, Allie Lehman, Lindsey Smith, Clayton Cruzy. Light heavyweight 2 to ringside.
our light heavyweight division. I think there is a trio up top, and there's a lot of differences, but the Speckle Brockle for me is just one that's so good touching and big back, super fresh, and he's got all the chrome and extras. Get him propped up and presented, and he wedges the right direction. He's up and out. That being said, maybe he is a notch not as unique about his chest floor, but that one is big in his upper hip, super shapely, really expressive, and big back, a really nice place to start. Sort for me comes here in 2 and 3, and when you set him in motion, the natural for me just prances around the ring on the best set of feet and legs, the best skeleton, one that's the best built in its shoulder. This one just motors around the ring with the most athleticism, and that's where I'm going to tie my priorities today. A young man sheep that comes here in 3, he's fresh touching, he's big back. That one probably has tons of power compared to some of those on either end of him, but you watch him get out and go, and that one's shoulder and just front end assembly is straight and opened up. He gets protruding about that breastplate, and then he wants to get just prancing around on his hind set of feet and legs underneath of himself and pulling up on his spine. Just want to make him more comfortable all out of both ends of his skeleton, change him about the way he lays into his shoulder. Young man brings us a bold rib, big caged one here in 4, but that being said, watch this one drive, and just the most restricted out of its hock. This one runs out of gas in its upper hip and pin width from behind to play with those right ahead of it. I just want this one to motor out on a more comfortable set of feet and legs, and not nearly the expression, hardness of touch as those right ahead of him. Young man that's going to round out this class just runs out of gas for me, and I feel bad because this one presented and propped up looks good. He's just really soft and really plain and just not as hydrated about his muscle shape. Let me watch him get out and go, and I really just wish that one would run uphill and not be so high in his hip and then close up at the surface. Really good class. Let's give them a hand.
Light heavyweight 1, first place Savannah Stoner, second Emmeline Cleland, third Colt Cleland, fourth Chase Cruzy, fifth Leo Zinn. Next class in the ring, light heavyweight 2, Josh Holtree 541, Allie Lehman 574, Lindsey Smith 220, Clayton Cruzy 366. 4 lambs in this class weighing 129 and 130. Market Lamb Exhibitors light heavyweight 3 to ringside, Shelby Myers, Lacey Lehman, Cooper Umbrell, Carly Saplee, and Jamison Jones.
Just a big-backed, expressive one, and I'll be honest, these two are switched here. One that, there isn't one in this class that just comes ahead and says, I'm a show pony out here, find me to win, but we get our hands on them, and the class winner is one that surfaces for me, just square-backed and ultra good touching, big loin edge on this guy, and he's the squarest in his build. I wish he'd get around the ring and move just a little bit better. He's wanting to fight the young lady and just not wanting to drive for her today. But that being said, I think that's a really nice one to go ahead and start. Young man sheep here that comes second. I wish this one was just a little more hydrated and for me just handled with some more expression, especially in his rack. He just gets plainer and then he closes up in his knee and at the surface. For me, I think this one is not nearly as massive as the one that goes ahead and wins. I think he's the next best silhouetted, next best built one that's really square up out of his hip. A young lady does a great job driving this one here in 3, and when she gets him presented, he's up and out, really cool up front, and he's really good touching up until that 13th rib. And boy, I just really need to change that one in his upper hip and his dock set. And we watch him get out and go. He gets high in his spine and just wants to fall apart out of any other sheep in this class. And I just need to tie him together in his skeleton and motion to go ahead and move up in this class. Suffolk appearing sheep that's going to round out this group is one that's very thin-hided and really raw touching. That being said, this one's hind leg construction just has too much set, and outside of his skeleton, the lightest muscled, frailest featured one in this group. Let's give them all a hand.
Light heavyweight 2, first place Allie Lehman, second Clayton Cruzy, third Lindsey Smith, and fourth Josh Holtree. Next class in the ring, light heavyweight 3. Shelby Myers, Lacey Lehman, Cooper Umbrell, Carly Saplee, and Jamison Jones. Market Lamb exhibitors. Next class to ringside, light heavyweight 4. Colt Cleland, Judd Cleland, Lacey Lehman, Blake Bear, Andy Swab. Light heavyweight 4 to ringside.
A really good class all the way down through, and the young man sheep for me is just the highest presented one that goes ahead and has that show ring look about him, handle quality, and just the most mass. Young man does a great job of getting him presented and up and out. He's the most fluid when we set him in motion. He's the most comfortable in his spine. That's my kind to go ahead and start a class. Young man sheep that comes in second closely follows that one when it comes to just shape and handle, build quality, and just spread from that rib structure all the way back, the way he wedges, as bulky as he is at the ground. Probably the Clydesdale comes here in 3, and that one's up and out and good looking. That being said, he's the rawest one out. He's getting too peaked about that loin edge. Need to change him in that regard, but I think he's just super up and out and really good looking. Young lady's got the Southdown out here that is super good touching and fresh hided. That one's got big feet and fuzzy legs, and he's up and out and good looking. Just runs out of gas for a Southdown in this division from behind. I just like to see this guy pulled apart to play with the black sheep out here. Young lady brings us a Hampshire appearing sheep in 5, and that one is just the most up in his spine and rounder out of both ends of his skeleton. Just need to get that guy more massive to go ahead and play in this weather division. Let's give them a hand.
Light heavyweight 3, first place Cooper Umbrell, second Jamison Jones, third Lacey Lehman, fourth Carly Saplee, and fifth Shelby Myers. Next class in the ring, light heavyweight 4, Colt Cleland 138, Judd Cleland 136, Lacey Lehman 567, Blake Bear 332, and Andy Swab 583. 5 lambs in this class weighing 134 to 136. Market Lamb Exhibitors, next class at ringside, light heavyweight 5. Alana Haynes, Taylor Sturm, and Katie Miller. Once again, light heavyweight 5 to ringside.
I think this class is really good in this top pair, but when we set them in motion, that's where I'm going to sort them today. The biggest footed, burliest, most masculine one comes here to start the class. This one gets around the ring more up and out and shallow, just more collected about his shoulder and the way he wants to get out and drive. Probably one that just progresses with a more rib cage and underline comes here in second. I think that one's Silhouette, and once we get him propped up, it is way, way good. I think he gets just frailer featured at the ground. He's not nearly as woofy and as powerful as the one right ahead of him. Watch him get out and go, and I wish he wasn't so jammed up in his front 1/3 and driving towards the ground. He just gets higher about that hip when he gets closed up in his hock and straighter from behind. A young man brings this one here that's pretty hard to construct, as shallow as he is in his chest floor and as big as he is in his upper pin and his hip structure. I fault this guy in motion. I wish he was just more comfortable in his spine, but that one's really elite heighted, really good touching and shapely. Brockle Speck's going to come next, and that one is just super attractive from the side. He doesn't balance up for me. He gets longer about his blade. He's softer touching and just opened up in that shoulder. Just want to make him square and harder muscle down the top side, and then he doesn't progress with as much hit and hind leg as the 3 right ahead of him. Young man Sheep that's going to come next just gets out-horsed in this division. He closes up the most from behind and just the plainest about his shape. Let's give this class a round of applause.
Light heavyweight 4, first place Blake Bear, second Andy Swab, third Judd Cleland, fourth Lacey Lehman, fifth Colt Cleland. Next class in the ring, light heavyweight 5, Alana Haynes, 37, Taylor Sturm, 94, Katie Miller, 173. 3 lambs in this class, all 137. Market Lamb Exhibitors up next, light heavyweight champion. We need the top 3 from each of our weight classes back in the ring for light heavyweight champion.
We've got one that comes out here to win this class, and boy, I love this one's white feature and handle quality. This one is highly presented and good looking, just super expressive, big pinned, square in his edges. It's how he handles his hip and his loin edge and that junk muscle over the young lady's Sheep that's a little more up and out that comes here in second. I like that one's look up front, but then he gets washed out there in his loin edge, not as good, and square in his hip as the one right ahead of him. I think his Silhouette That's really good. Just need to make him transition and funnel just a little bit better to go ahead and play with that one right ahead of him. Young Lady Sheep here in third just gets out-horsed and outplayed in this division. One that is big featured and framey, kind of a sheep that's good looking and extended and long-bodied. He just comes to us straighter in his construction. Really just need to change him and this hip structure for me today. Let's give them all a round of applause.
Light heavyweight 5, first place Alana Haynes, second Katie Miller, and third Taylor Sturm. We're now ready for our light heavyweight champion drive. From light heavyweight 1, Savannah Stoner, Emmeline Cleland, and Colt Cleland. Light heavyweight 2, Allie Lehman, Clayton Cruzy, and Lindsay Smith. Light heavyweight 3, Cooper Umbrell, Jamison Jones, and Lacey Lehman. Light heavyweight 4, Blake Bear, Andy Swab, and Judd Cleland. And light heavyweight 5, Alana Haynes, Katie Miller, and Taylor Sturm.
Incredible division of sheep, and I'm not one to hide my cards out here when playing poker, but these 5 I think are really, really good and have all that extra show ring presence and show lamb look about them, and I'll talk them for you. The young man out of that third class, that sheep silhouette is really good. He does a tremendous job presenting this one. There's not a hole in this sheep, but boy, maybe not quite the handle quality of some of the other ones out here. His look is next level. He does a great job presenting him. Wish he met my hand just a little harder, square, but that one from me from the side and just every angle is super, super good. Young man brings us one here in the second to last class, and this one's woofy and just big and stout, featured at the ground. Big and expressive and powerful, set him in motion, and I really want to change the way his neck lays into him. He wants to get forward and open up about his shoulder, especially at the top side of his scapula. A young lady brings this one that's super white featured and good looking here in this last class. You want to talk about handle quality, and that one transitions the smoothest from his blade back to his hip. He doesn't break when he funnels, and when I get my hands on him like some of the others do in their loin edge. I think that's where he separates himself. Boy, I just wish he was just bigger featured at the ground, but his look, his next level, his handle quality, I think the ones back behind him are super good touching and good looking when we get them presented. Young lady there in the multicolored shirt, man, I just want to change that one's hock about him when he gets out and goes. Then he wants to get just lower and more forward about his shoulder, but that one is fed to a T. Kudos to you for getting that one dialed and ready. Young lady does a great job with this second sheep out of this last class. Super up and out and extended, just great leg wool and bone about him, just up and out and good looking. I need to change his loin edge there about him. Need to just make him a little square in his upper hip to go ahead and rival some of these other ones. That's how I see him today, and I think there's a couple different ways you can go. I think when it comes to just me and build quality and ones that just motor around the best, young lady out of this last class is going to be my champion. One that's just the super stout featured, one that's hard to make in a lot of places. Just want to change the neck set and the shoulder blade action. This will be our reserve. I think from there, this trio can play really, really hard, and I like the silhouette of that one and the soundness of skeleton and feature. Wish he was harder muscled. A young lady brings this one here that's dialed when it comes to just feeding program. Boy, I just want to change his skeleton, especially out of his shoulder when we set him in motion, and his hock when he closes up at the surface from behind. A young lady here has just got a super good silhouetted one, but I really need to change that loin and upper hip. The one that's the most consistent for me, young man's going to be my third overall.
Champion light heavyweight goes to Alana Haynes with 37, reserved to Blake Bears 332, and third light heavyweight to Cooper Umbrell 424. Let's give all of our exhibitors a round of applause. Great set of sheep out there in that ring. Next class in the ring, heavyweight 1. Josh Holtree, 5'4", Gwen McKee, 293, and Gwen McKee, 294. Three lambs in this class, weighs 138 across the board. Market Lamb exhibitors, heavyweight 2 to ringside. Allie Lehman, Chris Kelly, and Alana Haynes.
We start our heavyweights here, and this group of 3, for me, I'm just going to sort them on compositional traits when it comes to just all being very similar in their build and their kind. That being said, the one that goes ahead and wins just has the most power, the most mass. Hang this one upside down, and she's got the most genuine shape and product. Really just want to stouten up the guy right behind her. This guy is good looking and shallow, but that being said, he gets plainer about his muscle shape, especially from behind. Want to square him up in that dock set and back through his hind saddle. Young lady brings us one that's going to come third in this division. Just wants to get too long about her hock set. Need to change this one's upper hip as well to go ahead and rival those two right ahead of her. Let's give them a round of applause.
Heavyweight 1, first place Gwen McKee. Second, Josh Holtree. Third, Gwen McKee. Next class in the ring. Heavyweight 2, Allie Lehman, 575. Chris Kelly, 177. Alana Haynes, 36. Heavyweight 2 in the ring, 3 lambs, 139 to 142. Market Lamb exhibitors, heavyweight 3 to ringside. Katie Miller, Cooper Umbrell, and Casey Bear.
A young man brings this one here that's really big featured and up and out and just super good touching. Be honest, I found this one at an early jackpot show that I was sorting, and I thought this one had tons of future, and boy, he's here now, and I get to judge him at his end terminal point as well as I did early on in his career. And that being said, he progressively gets better, and for being that big and still that genuine in his rack shape and his shoulder, the way he lays into him, and be that up and out and shallow, good touching and good moving. Boy, I would like to change him just a notch on that left rear pastern. But that guy is super, super fresh and up and out, big, shapely, just huge upper hip, and this guy for a big frame shape. But let's give him a round of applause, a nice class winner to go ahead and win this deal. I think it gets really, really close here in our sort for 2 and 3, and that young man kind of just walks away with this trio. But that being said, the young lady's sheep here in second handles with a better rack and just square in its build. This one's up and out and just better about his neck set. That being said, set him in motion, and I think he gets too high in his spine, wants to walk and paddle up underneath of himself. Want to change him in that regard. Young lady brings us the ewe-lamb here on the halter, and this one's quick and moderate and low-fronted. She's got tons of rib, and I love her underline balance, but for me, she gets broken in that loin edge and higher about that tail head. You get your hands on her, and her ribs just ultra soft today, and then you set her in motion, and she gets straighter at the front side of her blade and wants to stick her neck out the front side for me. Just want to make that gal more coordinated in motion. Let's give them all a round of applause.
Heavyweight 2, first place, Chris Kelly. Second, Allie Lehman. And third, Alana Haynes. Next class in the ring, heavyweight 3, Katie Miller, 174. Cooper Umbrell, 423. And Casey Bear, 331. 3 lambs in this class, 143 to 145. Market Lamb exhibitors, heavyweight 4 to ringside. Jace Kelly, Mallory Fagan, and Andy Swab. Once again, heavyweight 4 to ringside.
young man Speckle up here is the most athletic in motion, and one that for a white sheep is ultra expressive, square back, good touch in, and that's hard to make one like that. And he's big, and his upper hip transitions the best for me. His underline balance is right. Young man's a great stick on this one. Sort comes here in 2 and 3, and the young lady sheep, when we set him in motion, just holds his shoulder that much better than the young man sheep. When we watch him get out and go, I think both of them need to be changed in their hock and just their upper hip. But boy, for big framey sheep out here, I think they're holding themselves together well. Just not quite the muscle shape, especially out of the loin edge for the young man. And I really just want to change that one's long blade and neck set to go ahead and win. Let's give this group of 3 a round of applause.
Heavyweight 3, first place Casey Bear, second Katie Miller, and third Cooper Umbrell. Next class in the ring, heavyweight 4. Heavyweight 4, Jace Kelly, 179. Mallory Fagan, 342. Andy Swab, 582. Three lambs in this final class. Weights 147 and 148. Market Lamb exhibitors, after this class, will be ready for our heavyweight champion drive. We need the top 3 from each heavyweight class to ringside for selection of our heavyweight champion.
I think this trio is really good, but one that is just a great big show pony out here is my kind to go ahead and find his way to the top, to be this big framed of a sheep and that good looking, running and wedge in the right direction up top, and then being super expressive and big in his upper hip, and to be this big of a sheep and still be one of the best handling sheep we've seen today. I think that one is really, really good. Young man brings us out just a big back, square edge kind of a sheep. He just gets a little rounder about his shoulder, gets more restricted in his hock from the side. We watch him get out and go. He is a little drier compared to the one right ahead of him. I wish he was just a little softer in his flank and had that elite underline balance to go ahead, play with that one right ahead of him. But he's bigger at the ground, that's for darn sure. Young lady brings this one out here in this division and just gets out horsed by these 2 great big ones out here that I like quite a bit. Let's give them all a round of applause.
Heavyweight 4, first place Andy Swab, second Jace Kelly, and third Mallory Fagan. We're now ready to select our heavyweight champion. From heavyweight 1, Gwen McKee, Josh Holtree, and Gwen McKee. Heavyweight 2, Chris Kelly, Lacey Lehman, Alana Haynes. Heavyweight 3, Casey Bear, Katie Miller, Cooper Umbrell. And heavyweight 4, Andy Swab, Jace Kelly, and Mallory Fagan. Once again, this is your drive for heavyweight champion Market Lamb. Next in the ring will be our drive for grand champion Market Lamb. We need In the lightweight division, Taylor Sturm's 96, Chris Kelly's 178. In the medium weight, George Schwab 584, Carly Suplee 117. Light heavyweight, Alana Haynes 37 and Blake Bear 332. Those animals to ringside for selection of our grand champion, Market Lamb.
Crazy good heavy drive. Let's give them all a round of applause in this division. I think when we get these big boys out here that are still up and out and good looking and fresh touching, ones that are just really pulled apart and massive, but then still have that silhouette from the side, just being crazy cool looking and shallow and up and out. And I'm known probably to just take better built and better looking ones from the side that look and wedge the right direction. And then I'm going to study them at the ground. And I think there's give and take in that regard. There's one that probably just isn't quite as good in his pasterns, and one that closes up just ever so slightly in its hock. And then just a really woofy, masculine, kind of stout and powerful one that's not quite as elite in his look and his blade action, and doesn't handle with as much freshness of touch and quality of build. I'll go out and show you the three I like. I think they're all a little different, but they're ones that are really, really intriguing and really good. Let's give them another round of applause.
Your champion heavyweight goes to Andy Swab, reserved to Chris Kelly, and third heavyweight to Jace Kelly. We're now ready for our Grand Champion Market Lamb drive. Grand Champion Market Lamb. Out here driving for our Grand Champion Market Lamb. Out of the lightweight division, Taylor Sturm and Chris Kelly. In the medium weight, George Schwab and Carly Suplee. Light heavyweight, Alana Haynes and Blake Bear. And your heavyweight lambs, Andy Swab and Chris Kelly. As we round out our show here today, let's go ahead and put our hands together for all these exhibitors, the parents, all the volunteers that help ran the ring, and our judge, Mr. Troy Longenecker. We've been at this since 1 o'clock with the market goats. 7.5 hours, not too bad for a day's work. Thank you so much for coming out. Market Lamb exhibitors up next. We've got a pair of 2 Market Lambs. The following individuals have entered pairs. Please be at ringside ready to come to the ring. Colt Cleland, Aubrey Watkins, Cooper Umbrell, Leo Zinn, Josh Holtree, Mason Miller, Caitlin Holtree, Trinity Pierce, Chris Kelly, Andy Swab, Jace Kelly, Gwen McKee, George Swab, Taylor Sturm, and Katie Miller. Once again, those exhibitors have entered pairs. Please be at ringside ready to show.
Let's give all these kiddos out here another hand. Like I said before, I kind of live for the drive, and it's just something that gets me going. And even if I'm leaving a show and coming home and driving, like last night, I was watching the Ohio State Fair driving home from another show I was sorting. And, you know, I got lots of friends and buddies and just stock that I'm involved with coast to coast. And I can't be everywhere at once. But I like to get out and do my thing and make my mark in this industry and work with youth, but then still be involved where I can and where I cannot be. But that being said, this Shippensburg Fair has been crazy good, and I'm very blessed for the call and to work with these youth. And that being said, I did the best job I could of just sorting stock and just doing the best of my ability when it comes to the fundamentals of build and balance and quality. I know there's a lot of friends I have ringside and some that might have shaken their heads a few times, but that's okay because I like this kind, and this is what came out in the ring for me to evaluate, and this is where we landed today. And both the goats and the sheep, we've got a great county fair here and great kids, great livestock, and good support. Let's give all the support and the people running the ring and everyone a round of applause. You know, the county fair isn't the end-all, be-all of everything, and I've been a very successful individual, and I'll tell you, in my 10 years of exhibiting a market lamb at the county fair, I never once won, and that's okay. And, you know, right now I'm doing great big things, working with national judging contests and judging national shows, and won quite a few national champion sheep shows this year, and for me, that's been huge. And just kind of work your whole life to get that stigma of an East Coast breeding sheep kid off your back to go ahead and make your impact in this industry. So kids, if you win or lose today, don't let it deter you from your success and moving forward and progressing in your life, because my handshake today for two of you does not determine your future. I think the most important things, and I had a great opportunity to sort the Illinois State Fair last year, and I got done in the Grand Drive, which is one of the coolest things, to be in a huge coliseum at a Midwest State Fair. And 5 minutes before the show, they asked me to sing the national anthem because the recording didn't work and the young lady wasn't going to make it in time. It was supposed to do it. And there was an elite livestock person that came up to me afterwards and said, Troy, you're going to be big time in this industry because your focus is on country, family, kids, and God. And let's just give all those four things a round of applause, because outside of this show ring, that's what's the most important. I'm going to drop the mic now, and I'll get off my soapbox, and that's what means the most to me when it comes out here to evaluating stock shows. Hope afterwards you'll receive these kids with a round of applause and a congratulations, because they deserve it. I'm going to go out and show you your Grand and Reserve. It's been a fun day. Really enjoyed it. Glad I could be here.
Grand Champion Market Lamb presented by Souter Show Stock and Megan Souter. Grand Champion Lamb goes to Andy Swab. And your reserve is Alana Haynes. Congratulations to all our exhibitors. Thanks again to Troy. We're going to do our pair of two lambs. Again, we have entries from Colt Cleland, Cooper Umbrell, Leo Zinn, Josh Holtree, Mason Miller, Caitlin Holtree, Trinity Pierce, Chris Kelly, Andy Swab, Jace Kelly, Gwen McKee, George Swab, Taylor Sturm, and Katie Miller. Exhibitors and parents, thank you so much for coming out. After our pair of two market lambs, we are going to set the show ring for the market swine show tomorrow. We are going to need hands. Exhibitors and parents, we're going to need some volunteers to help set the ring for the market swine show tomorrow. Don't forget, exhibitors and parents, we need volunteers to help set the show ring for tomorrow's Market Swine Show. Guests and people watching, we'll be right back here tomorrow morning at 8:30 in the morning for the Market Swine Show. See you then. Pairs of Market Lambs. First place, Chris Kelly. Second, Andy Swab. Third, Cooper Umbrell. Fourth, Katie Miller. Fifth, Colt Cleland. Sixth, Mason Miller. Seventh, Taylor Sturm. And eighth, Caitlin Holtree.